My name is Gracie and I'm 27 years old. I balance being a housewife and holding a position as an office worker. My husband Aaron is the same age as me. He adores his mother Eliza a little too much and she seems to enjoy making my life difficult as a hobby. Despite the ups and downs of our marriage, we recently celebrated our second anniversary. I'm proud of how well I've managed to endure everything, and I find that work has become my escape. My dedication has paid off, leading to multiple promotions, which is uncommon for women in my field. Currently, I'm on a business trip, traveling across Europe for meetings. Right now, I'm in the middle of a very important one. Just as the meeting started, my phone, set to silent mode, began vibrating persistently. Seeing 2 missed calls, I thought it might be an emergency. I discreetly checked my phone under the desk, and to my surprise, the missed calls were from Eliza. What could possibly be going on? I wondered, feeling a twinge of anxiety. I quickly excused myself and stepped out to return the call, only to see Eliza calling again. "Hello, Gracie, where are you right now?" Eliza's irritated voice greeted me as I tapped the call button. I hesitated, thinking maybe I shouldn't have answered. "Hello, Eliza. How are you today? Is something urgent? Why aren't you answering me? I just asked where you are, Gracie," she snapped, her arrogance grating on my nerves. I was annoyed, but since I was in the middle of an important meeting, I didn't want to prolong the conversation. I responded calmly, "I'm on a business trip in a meeting. Didn't Aaron tell you? Can I call you back when I'm done?" Eliza's tone grew sharper. "Of course, Aaron told me, but what are you doing leaving your house and husband alone? Come back home immediately." Her sudden and unreasonable demand caught me off guard. "I'm sorry, Eliza, but I'm in the middle of an important meeting. I really can't just leave." She cut me off, her frustration evident. "You're so bossy, even though you're just Aaron's wife. I don't care for your excuses. Come back home this instant. Today is a very important day. Do you understand me?" I blinked in confusion. "An important day? What are you talking about?" I asked, trying to keep my composure. "We're celebrating my 60th birthday today," she replied smugly. Her words stunned me. We had planned to celebrate her birthday at the end of the month, and I had even helped arrange a special dinner at a nice restaurant. Why was she insisting on celebrating today, in the middle of my business trip and on a weekday? This was unexpected and completely out of the blue. I was getting fed up with Eliza's attempts to bully me yet again. It seemed like she got meaner every year, always finding ways to torment me, even when she knew I was in the middle of important work. Frustrated, I decided to stand my ground. "As I said before, I'm on a business trip and can't come home right now," I told her firmly. "Oh, how funny," she replied with a sneer. "Because I called Aaron earlier, and he said he'd take the day off for me. All the relatives will be there. Except you, Gracie. It's always work, work, work with you. You're so cold. What do you think of your own husband's parents?" I could feel her sarcastic words digging deeper, but I knew if I let her continue, it would never end. I was still in the middle of a meeting and couldn't waste more time on this conversation. "I'm sorry, Eliza, but I can't attend your 60th birthday celebration, no matter what you say," I stated clearly, hoping to end the call. Suddenly, Eliza's sarcasm vanished. She took a deep breath and spat out, "Well then, I won't recognize you as family at all. Don't bother coming back home. Ever. It's a divorce. Aaron was too good for you in the first place." Her words were like a slap in the face. I felt a surge of anger and hurt, but I didn't want to prolong the call with a rebuttal. I simply said, Okay, I'll talk to you when I get home. I'm sorry, but I have to go now." "What's with that attitude? I told you not to come back. I'll talk to Aaron myself," she snapped before hanging up on me. Exhausted from the encounter, I let out a sigh and returned to the meeting. After 2 more days of meetings, I finally made my way home. I was so consumed with anger and frustration toward my mother-in-law that I barely remembered how I got home. As I'd opened the front door and called out, "I'm home," I heard my husband's voice, weary and drained. "Welcome me back." I kicked off my heels and headed straight to the living room, leaving my luggage by the door. There I was met with a pile of cardboard boxes and the sight of Aaron sweaty and taping up the boxes. "What's with all the boxes?" I asked, my voice laced with suspicion. Aaron, looking defeated, explained that they were all my belongings. He then told me that Eliza had indeed thrown her 60th birthday celebration on the day she called me. Without me there, she had spread the word to all the relatives that I had neglected her special day and treated her arrogantly over the phone. To top it off, she announced that she was going to force Aaron to divorce me and send me back to my parents' house, branding me as an unworthy wife for her precious son. This sounded exactly like something Eliza would do, so I asked Aaron, "And then what happened? Did you agree to the divorce?" "No, I didn't exactly agree," he mumbled. "But she told me to pack up your stuff and I didn't have much choice." What was I supposed to do? His words hit me like a ton of bricks. What? Does that mean you didn't argue with her? Does that mean you're okay with getting a divorce? Aaron looked down, his voice weak. "My father, Alex, said that if Eliza's in a bad mood, it'll be hell for him, so he told me to just go along with it." I was stunned. Aaron's willingness to accept a divorce so easily, just to keep his mother happy, was beyond belief. It was clear that in his family, no one stood up to Eliza, a father who was controlled by his wife and a son who adored and obeyed his mother. It felt like no one was on my side. As I stood there in silent disbelief, Aaron looked at me with pleading eyes and said, "What my mother says is absolute. This is just until her mood settles down. This divorce is just a sham and promise. I'll come back for you when things cool down." I wished Aaron could use those pleading eyes on his own mother. How could a grown man like him be so utterly terrified of her? It was baffling. For a moment I almost felt self-loathing, questioning what I had ever seen in him that made me marry him in the first place. But then a thought struck me. Maybe this was my chance. If I stayed with Aaron, Eliza would never stop tormenting me, always pushing me toward divorce. Maybe I was lucky to be getting out of this marriage with so little trouble. I had the means to support myself, and even if I ended up alone, I wouldn't lack for anything. Suddenly, it felt like a fog had lifted from my mind. I looked at Aaron and said, "Fine. Let's get a divorce." With that decision made, I immediately called Eliza. It took 3 rings before she answered. "Hello." "As you wish," I said calmly. "We're getting a divorce." Eliza's voice instantly brightened with triumph. "Yes, please, get out of Aaron's house. You've finally realized you're not good enough for him, haven't you? I'm so relieved. Don't worry. I'll find Aaron an obedient, pretty, and parent-friendly wife this time." "I'm sure Aaron will be in high demand," Eliza continued with a smug tone. "Don't worry, I'll take care of my son until he finds his next wife." After unloading all the sarcasm she could muster, I decided to give her a parting shot. "Well, don't misunderstand me, Mother," I said casually. Eliza, still in her good mood, scoffed. "Aren't you a sore loser? Well, don't mind me. Oh, by the way, Gracie, I got the divorce papers from the city office and handed them to Aaron. Don't forget to sign them." Without another word, she hung up the phone. Aaron, who had been listening to the entire conversation, actually looked relieved. I couldn't believe it. Is Aaron really this clueless? I thought to myself. Then I turned to him and asked, "By the way, honey, does your mother know that you're a full-time house husband?" Aaron's expression shifted to one of discomfort. "How can I tell her that? My mother lives for the idea that I'm an elite, working for a major company." His tone was defensive, but it only made things clearer. I recalled the hints that he had been hiding the truth from Eliza all along. At home, Aaron always wore a shabby sweatshirt, but when he met up with Eliza, he went out of his way to change into a suit. Whenever Eliza called during the day, he pretended not to be home, giving her the impression he was hard at work. At her 60th birthday celebration, Eliza had proudly announced that Aaron was a devoted son who had taken time off work to attend her party. She had even boasted that with his status, he would have no trouble finding a more obedient and prettier wife than me in no time. I'm sure everything will eventually come to light once we're divorced. But Aaron, who's always been the golden child in Eliza's eyes, would never dare reveal anything that might disappoint her. Eliza, who thinks her son is brilliant and infallible, has no idea that her so-called elite son quit his job at the major company. The truth is, Aaron left his job about a year ago. The son she once bragged about as a status symbol is now unemployed and a full-time house husband. Aaron had to quit after making a major mistake at work that resulted in a written apology, a demotion and a significant pay cut. I doubt he ever told his mother about that incident. The whole situation shattered Aaron. He had always been pampered and spoiled by Eliza, leaving him emotionally fragile and sensitive. The stress of having to write a report on his mistake led to palpitations and nausea whenever he even thought about going to the office. Eventually, he couldn't bring himself to go to work at all. First, he started calling in sick and using paid leave, but soon he stopped calling in altogether. The number of unauthorized absences piled up, and eventually, he was fired. Now Aaron has no intention of finding another job and has been relying entirely on my income. Aaron still can't bring himself to tell Eliza the truth because he knows how furious and disappointed she would be. A part of me is disappointed I won't be around to see Eliza's reaction when she finally learns the truth. I wouldn't be surprised if she were so shocked she had a stroke. But then again, it's not my problem anymore. Handing me the divorce papers, Aaron said, "This is just a cover to convince my mother, okay?" He handed me the divorce papers, which I promptly submitted. Then I signed a lease for a new apartment and moved in as quickly as possible. A month later, I received an unexpected phone call from my ex-mother-in-law, Eliza, someone I thought I had cut ties with for good. Curious about what she wanted, I answered the call. "What do you want from me now? Aren't you glad you got rid of me?" I asked sarcastically. "Well, you're still the same," she replied, her tone as condescending as ever. "Just listen to me." She launched into a story about Aaron. After our divorce, Eliza had visited Aaron's apartment several times to help with household chores, but every time she went, she found him lounging around in his room. There was no sign of him going to work, and he didn't seem to be ill. She then asked if I had any idea what was going on. Suppressing the urge to laugh, I replied nonchalantly, I see. Well, of course, he's like that because Aaron has no intention of working ever again." It was as if Eliza had forgotten she was the one who had insisted on kicking me out. "Gracie, can you do something about it?" she asked, as if I owed her any favors. "Why should I?" I shot back. "You didn't want me in your family and wanted nothing to do with me." Her audacity was unbelievable, only reaching out when it suited her after years of mistreating me. She then asked, "Well, I was wondering if you said something to Aaron before you left." I couldn't believe her nerve. How much did she want to paint me as the villain? Did she really think the problem lay with me and not her son? I'm the one who was hurt, you know," I retorted. "Oh really? You only married Aaron because you wanted a luxurious life, right? So what's so hurtful about getting divorced?" Eliza sneered as if I had married Aaron for his money. I couldn't help but scoff. "You must be joking. I was the one supporting Aaron financially during our marriage. I was the one who provided for you," I said. To be honest, I couldn't afford to live extravagantly because of Aaron. I was fine with the divorce, but should I file for alimony? Eliza was taken aback. "How dare you?" she snapped. "You're just making that up. Gracie, you must have forgotten to ask for alimony. Aaron has a higher income and a better position than you. Don't be unreasonable. If you want money, Eric can pay whatever you need. After all, Aaron is an elite working for a major company." Her response was maddeningly out of touch. Maybe Aaron hadn't told Eliza the truth yet, and I didn't want to just be a tattletale. But this was a chance to see how Eliza would react to the reality of Aaron's situation, and it felt like a good opportunity to get back at her. So, I decided to reveal the truth. Your proud son is a full-time house husband. He quit his job a long time ago. What? Eliza's voice rose in disbelief. You're lying, she shouted, her tone so loud I thought she might burst my eardrums. I pulled the phone away from my ear for a moment and said calmly, why don't you check with the company? You'll see who's telling the truth. Eliza fell silent for a moment. Then she stammered, well, if that's true, what are we going to do? I can't support my son with just my pension, and no one will marry him now that he's unemployed. Eliza's voice had taken on a desperate tone, clearly reflecting her concern. My face started to show a hint of a grin. What are we going to do? She'd asked. Eliza fell silent for a moment, then started muttering to someone nearby. When she spoke again, her voice was pleading. Gracie, please come home. I was taken aback by her sudden shift. No, we're already divorced, I replied firmly. I wouldn't come back to your family if heaven and earth turned upside down. Amidst the commotion, I heard someone near Eliza shouting. It sounded like Aaron's voice. I told you I'd come get you back when things cool down. Eliza's voice became frantic. Yes, you could remarry my son. What are you talking about? No way, I retorted. I wouldn't do it for the world. Don't joke about this. Eliza tried to sound grateful but was clearly struggling. Thank you, seriously, okay. I reminded her one last time not to regret her decision and made it clear I wanted nothing more to do with Aaron or her. I did what you asked, so please stop changing your mind. Eliza responded defensively, but you've been talking back to me this whole time, with that nonchalant attitude. I didn't think you'd actually go through with the divorce. In response, I let out my frustration. I was just putting up with it. Besides, Aaron packed up my stuff and kicked me out without a word. Eliza continued to make excuses. That was just a prank. A prank? I said, incredulous. It's worse than that. Frustrated and realizing there was no point in continuing this conversation, I glanced at my watch. It was nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and my lunch break had been wasted on this futile exchange. Ah, Eliza, are you done now? I asked. She responded with her annoyingly sweet voice. What, Gracie? What did you say? Her tone was as infuriating as ever. I was certain she'd never be satisfied with anything I said. I'm going to hang up now. I have another meeting in a few minutes and need to review some documents, I said, starting to pull the phone away from my ear. But Eliza wouldn't let up. Wait, Gracie. Hey, Gracie, say something. She continued to scream, her frustration palpable. Aaron, you didn't do it right, and look at the mess it's caused. Listening to her blame everyone else for her problems was nauseating. I ended the call abruptly and blocked her number, unwilling to endure any more of her tirade. Soon after, Aaron started contacting me persistently, trying to reconcile. Seeing an opportunity, I asked my lawyer to pursue alimony from him. To my surprise, Aaron's family, perhaps intimidated by legal pressure, paid the alimony in a lump sum. It seemed Alex and Eliza had advanced the money, and their irritation with Aaron was palpable. They berated him daily to find a job, which Aaron found unbearable. It appeared that the once proud elites had fallen on hard times. Aaron had returned to his parents' house, unable to afford rent, and was living off their retirement savings. He blamed his parents for the divorce and seemed to be squandering their funds. Both Aaron and his family were locked in a cycle of blame, refusing to take responsibility for their actions. They were even planning to apply for welfare soon. I hoped the government would address their behavior, as it's hard to be self-serving when reliant on public assistance. As for me, the proposal I presented on my business trip was accepted, and I signed a major new contract. I received another promotion and a higher salary. I was living a comfortable life as a wealthy single woman, free from the torment of in-laws and financial dependence on family. If I ever decide to marry again, I'll make sure to thoroughly vet any potential partner to avoid another mother-loving spouse or troublesome in-laws.